Hey folks, welcome to another Packvember video. I'm going to try to squeeze this in at the very last second. As I film this, it's like 11 o'clock at night before December 1st, so wish me luck. So, this is a special Packard Bell. This one is the first pre-FOT Packard Bell. Now, FOT is frog design cases, which are like the ones you see down here with the little ripples in the case. That's frog design. This is before that. This is a more stately, sort of early 90s kind of design, where everything is squared off and boxy. You know, it's the 80s coming into the 90s, and it had to look business, you know? And that's the way that this case looks. This is the Packard Bell Packmate 966. This is based around a 46 platform, with a 46DX2 included in this model on a PB400 motherboard, which, as I've discovered, I used to think all the pre-FOT Packard Bells were all bad. No, actually, there are quite a few that are very good. This is one of them. The PB400 board uses Opti chipsets and Cirrus Logic video, just like some of the newer Frog design Packard Bells did. So the hardware in here is actually quite good. Like I said before, 46DX2, 8 megs of RAM. This thing did have a battery, a soldered-on battery that I'll show a picture of here, or maybe even several. The guy, I bought this from an eBay seller. He looked for a battery. He couldn't find one. I don't know what he was. I don't know how he didn't notice it. This big little NiCad battery, but I removed it. It had a little bit of crust there that I managed to get rid of using alcohol and white vinegar. That cleaned it right up. Very minimal damage. So I got very lucky with this particular computer. This computer came with a multimedia upgrade kit, a Reveal one, as you might see by this drive here. This drive originally came with that. It's a Reveal sound card and CD-ROM drive. And the Reveal brand were basically Aztec. The sound card is basically an Aztec card. Sound Blaster Pro compatible. It has 4 different interfaces on it that you will see when we open the machine. Now, I have had quite a journey with this machine, from having something short out the power supply, short it straight to ground and make it squeal to not boot anymore. Unfortunately, this machine is one of the early ones that has the 504 megabyte hard drive limit. I really struggled with that, just like I have on that 386 you saw in the previous video. My solution to that is to either use an XT IDE card or use an external IDE solution of some kind. Either one works well. In this particular case, I stole the XT IDE card out of my 386, and we're using that in this computer for the time being until I find a permanent solution. CD-ROM drives were an adventure. The Reveal drive does not work at all, and from what I've heard from some old heads, these Reveal drives really didn't work that long. They tended to die, and this one is no exception. It just, the interface for it doesn't work anymore. This HP drive that I replaced it with did work. However, I had it installed here. I pulled the front case off, which pulls off like that, and unfortunately, could you even see that? Yeah, I guess you could. Unfortunately, it caught the bezel in just the right way, and the plastic just exploded. This drive would have looked so good in here, but unfortunately, the bezel just kind of caught in the wrong place, so I had to fix this drive up, which Grateful42 is kind enough to give me. This thing just needed the laser cleaned. That's it. Now it works fine. So it's an 8-speed, actually a Packard Bell drive. So it kind of works for this machine. Both this drive and this drive are from 97. The Reveal drive's from 95. So none of this hardware is from 1993, which is when the computer was made, as you'll see later. So let's take a tour of the machine, and maybe I'll think of a few more things to say along the way. Here is the rear of the computer. You can see my XT IDE card just sticking out there. Thanks to that eliminating the 504 megabyte hard drive limit, I was able to use a 2 gigabyte CF card in here. That works fine. I really like these cards. Like, they're really good. There's the back of your sound card. Oddly enough, the output is over here rather than here, so that confused me a little bit. There's a built-in modem there. You get serial, parallel, game port, VGA, and PS2. And of course your power supply. And here's your date code. It was made August 30th, 1993. So this machine is 30 years old this year. So what a coincidence. This machine, just like the PB1700 CD, also takes these M4 screws that we mentioned before. Those fit in there too. And yeah, there you have it. Along this sticker here, it's model PB400, which is the model of the motherboard there. Zoom into that. Yeah, there you go. There's your date code there. So this machine was saved from a battery death. And thankfully I did get it fully working. And it's a good running machine. I think the only thing this computer really needs is some cache. And RAM. It only has 8 megs of RAM, which some games do complain about, so it's gonna need to have that put in there at some point or another. Alright, and here we are. Whoops. With the inside of the machine. There's your 486DX2 with its heatsink there. This is the reveal sound card, or at least what you can see of it. You can see it has 4 different hard drive interfaces on it. IDE, Panasonic, Mitsumi, and Sony. There really wasn't a universal standard for CD-ROMs yet. They were pretty early. And IDE ended up being the standard. Panasonic, Mitsumi, and Sony were all proprietary. And you had cards like this that supported all of them. The way they interfaced these headers to the system was through drivers. So you couldn't install something through the CD-ROM drive. It had to be through the floppy. But luckily, I managed to get this drive to work on the internal IDE, while the XT IDE just runs off of the ISO bus. So I managed to eliminate the need to use that, which is great. It allowed me to install a Packard Bell master CD from a much later time period on this machine, which you'll see when we boot it up. 1.2 meg floppy drive, 1.44 meg, and an 8-speed CD-ROM. That's what we're working with, plus the XT IDE. There's also a modem down here, and you'll notice, see those little pads down there? That's where the battery used to be, and right above that is a plug for a Tataran battery connector. So I will be getting a Tataran battery for this machine probably tomorrow. Before this Packvember video could come out. So unfortunately, gotta wait till after. But it turns out I don't need the battery now with this XT IDE in here. It just runs. So we're gonna have a good old time with this thing, aren't we? Yeah. So this thing's now a good running 486 machine. You can see all the RAM in there. It's 8 megs of RAM on 4 sticks. I'm hoping that I can just take one of these sticks out and stick an 8 meg stick in there and try to get up to 16, or at least close to it. I'll find out later on when I'm done making this video, I guess. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. So has this changed my opinion of the pre-FOT Packard Bells? Yes, it has. I think there's some good ones and some bad ones. PB400's a good one. The PB410 is a board that's not as good. It has, I think, different chipsets, and it has headland video, which is not as good as Cirrus Logic, for sure. So there's some inferior models. The ones that I see that are dead are typically the 386 ones. Those ones don't, sometimes those don't even power on anymore. So these later ones do work, though. These ones are a little bit better. So give credit where credit's due. So I'm going to put the cover back on, and I say we boot the machine up and we take a look at it. And without further ado, let's turn the computer on. There's your XT IDE BIOS. And then it boots straight into DOS there. There's the reveal drivers, Windows 3.1. you go. We got sound and everything. I did have to make floppies for the Reveal sound drivers, but it all works. You can see I was testing CD-ROM games here in the Playroom. I'm not going to have time to play that today, but I will have time to show you some of the interesting things the Reveal has. The Reveal comes with some MIDI files that are quite unique. SC400. That's the model of the card, by the way. Alright, we're going to look at these MIDI files. Groove.mid. Really cool MIDI files come with this sound card. Island is kind of fun. Under the sea. This card sounds quite good. It emulates a Sound Blaster Pro, like most of the Aztec sound cards and Packard Bells did, so they were good for gaming. I have read some old posts on Usenet from like 95 where someone was saying to beware of these Aztec sound cards because of the way that the MIDI controlling works. Apparently that wasn't 100%, but for gaming, most of these are fine. This one isn't as good as some of the others I've used for gaming, which we'll get to later. Very, very crazy sounding stuff there. But anyway, that's enough of the MIDI. There are games on here. This is the same Packard Bell master CD that we looked at on the 1700 CD. It's basically the same install. So the Packard Bell demo, the same version of Navigator and everything. So we can go into Navigator 3.0 here. You can go to PB New and you still get the same demo that we looked at last time if you want to take a look at that. And I suggest looking at the previous video. There you go. It's the same Navigator as on the other machine. Though you notice this choppiness. I wonder how much of this could be fixed with cache, because I don't think this has any cache.
Welcome to Packard Bell's Navigator. Welcome to the main menu of Navigator, the easy way to get to know and use your Packard Bell computer. Explore the function.
And there you go, Navigator, it works. Now the one thing I really wanted to look at on this machine in particular is DOS. Because this sound card is the most unique thing about this system compared to the other one, and that's really what I want to focus on. It's a 486 machine, you know, it does 486 things. It probably needs some cache to perform a little bit better, and it really needs the RAM more than anything else. So there are a few games that... This is a Sound Blaster Pro compatible card in this machine, right? This Reveal card. Well, it reveals some pretty awful things sometimes. Let's look at this game. This is an Excalibur game. Now, this thing is set up to use AdLib. Now, what you're about to hear is just a cacophony of notes. I don't know why this game is so incompatible with this particular sound card, but it is. That is awful. It's just a cacophony of noise. Oh, it's horrible. And here's the worst part. When you Control-Alt-Delete, the notes sustain. So you have to shut the computer off and turn it back on. That game really hates this sound card for whatever reason. Makes me want to try that on some of the other Packard Bells to see if this is an Aztec Sound Galaxy problem or if it's just this reveal card. Which really is just an Aztec Sound Galaxy in disguise anyway. But yeah, that's a glaring incompatibility with some of these third-party Sound Blaster compatible cards. They're not 100% compatible. That's really the only game that I've tested so far that has an issue with it. And that's not even really the Sound Blaster portion, it's the ad-lib. Just odd. So I don't really get that. But other games work fine. Other games work fine. So let's say I want to play some... Here's the other game we can look at, Doom 2. This one works fine. Takes a while to load that refresh daemon there. But it works. This is a game that really, I think, displays why cache is a good idea. I had to lower the texture I had to put the texture detail on low to get it to run well. And I've had to do that before on 486 machines. I can turn the volume back up. But you can hear that. That sounds perfectly fine. You can see how laggy this is. It really needs the cache to perform well. But it generally works okay. Once you're actually in the game, it's alright. Like, the frame rate here is playable. It's fine. And this is on low detail, by the way, too. I'm ducking out of the way best I can of the camera. If I get in the way, I'm sorry. This is just a mandatory part of Doom 2. Chainsaw everything. See, games like this work fine on a system like this. So this little 486... It was rescued from a bad battery death. The other one was rescued from a mouse infestation. I've done a lot of computer rescues lately, so this is kind of an interesting dynamic to run into. So there's your demonstration of a DOS game. Things definitely work well as far as DOS games go. The only weird thing was that sound card incompatibility issue that I demonstrated earlier. It was very, very odd. I've never run into that before. And I've used some really weird PCI sound cards that don't have great DOS compatibility, and I've never had them do that. So, let me just demonstrate that ad-lib does work, though. Here's Planet X3, and I'll select the ad-lib setting. Ad-lib works. It works fine. It's just that game, for some reason, hates this card. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a very weird card. And there you go. That's the pre-FOT Packard Bell 486. This is a last-minute addition to the Packvember schedule here. I just wanted to show you that the computer works. I definitely have plans for this machine in the future. I've thought about changing out the sound card just because of that DOS incompatibility. Even though that one game that it doesn't work with, it sucks anyway. You know, it still does the job. And there's things like that I'm thinking about. I also have an XT IDE kit that I have not soldered together yet. I am thinking of taking that and putting it in this machine with a separate CF card adapter too, so that I don't have to spend money and I can put the CF card adapter in the 486 now. I can stick that in I can stick that back in the 386. So that's an idea. We still need to do a video on that 386 as well. But yeah, I nursed this computer back to health. It was quite an adventure getting things to work again. I recommend using either some kind of card solution for getting past the 504 meg hard drive limit. That makes some of these old machines a real pain in the ass sometimes. But in the end, I have a working machine, and I'm quite happy with it, actually. The only thing it really needs, I'd say, is some cache. I don't know if I have the chips for that. I have some cache lying around, so maybe I can fit a few cache chips in that motherboard and get it up to snuff. But I rescued it. It's got a Tataran battery on the way, and I managed to get a Packard Bell image on it. I tried a master CD from around 1993, but that CD refused to work for whatever reason on this machine. It just went straight to the "we couldn't find a format number" screen and did not work after that. So I don't know if I did something wrong or what, because that worked when I tried it in PCM, which is an emulator for these sorts of machines. But yeah, pre-FOTs. This is my introduction to a pre-FOT Packard Bell. We might do videos on this in the future. And I just wanted to introduce it to you guys for Packvember this year before the month is out, just before. So there you go. I have a few 486 machines now. I'd been out of 486 for a while. I did have a board that I got from somebody a few years ago. And I just never got around to getting a video card for it for whatever reason. And I'd gotten out of vintage computing for a while. So I just didn't look for one, but I just happened to see these, and I had to pick them up, you know. Just had to do it, and they're in fantastic shape. I think both of these could use cleaning up a little, especially with these marks and whatnot. Maybe a little magic eraser. This one's in pretty good shape, but it could still be cleaned up too. Maybe we'll do videos of cleaning up the computers. I don't know. Do you guys want to see that? Let me know in the comments. We also have other stuff coming in the future. There's a Pentium 2 machine, and there's, of course, the Wang 386 machine you saw in the previous video. There's more to come in the future. I can't say immediately, but it's coming. It's coming. So there you have it. This is the Packard Bell Packmate 966. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you'd like to reach me on social media, those links are down below. And if you'd like to join our Discord, that link is down below as well. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.